All right. How often should you send emails? This is another question I get a lot. And I know there's this kind of balance you have to walk between sending too many emails and sending not enough. And I think everyone is afraid of sending too many emails. And I get it because we've all gotten those newsletters where we get an update every other day or even multiple times a day. I know I used to I used to subscribe to Petco's emails because I have a dog and I was buying stuff for her and they sent me stuff multiple times a day and it was insane. And I was like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. So I unsubscribed. I no longer, I mean, occasionally I buy from them. Mostly I buy from other places. We have a couple local pet supply stores actually. So I'm very lucky that we live in a very dog friendly, pet friendly area. So I had other options. So yeah, I get it. I get that we've all subscribed to those newsletters and they blast us all the time. And it's really annoying. But so we don't want to be that person. I get it. But stop and think. How many times do they have to email you for that to happen? Was it once a week? Was it twice a week? Was it every day? For me, it was multiple times a day. On the flip side, DSW probably sends me stuff every day. Once, maybe twice a day. I'm still subscribed. Now, I don't buy a ton of shoes. I do buy a fair amount because, again, dog. She's the husky. We walk a lot of miles. I go through a lot of shoes. Um, but I also just like looking at their stuff and their headlines are really catchy. And even when I open them, I know I'm opening just because of the headline. And I know I'm not necessarily going to find something that I'm actually going to wear or buy when I open it, right? But it gets me. It gets me to open. So you can send a fair number of emails. If it's the right company, if it's the right content, people will open it. So don't be afraid of that. So that leaves us with how often should I be sending my newsletters? Because there is such a thing as not sending frequently enough. I had someone unsubscribe from my newsletters, and the reason they gave was I never subscribed. But that's not a thing, right? Because I have mine set up so either they subscribe themselves, they click the button, they fill out the form, they subscribe to it, or every once in a while I'll be talking to someone in person or on Zoom and they'll be like, "Hey, add me to your list." And then I add them to my list. And then they have to go through then MailChimp sends them a confirmation saying, "Do you really want to subscribe?" And they have to click yes in order to subscribe. So, it's just not possible that someone was on my list without having subscribed. Unless maybe someone entered their email incorrectly. I guess that's possible. But my point is maybe I was not sending enough. Maybe I emailed them so infrequently that they forgot who I was, which I also don't believe because I don't send daily updates. I don't send monthly updates. At the time I was sending weekly updates. I have since pulled back to bi-weekly. It is now every other week that I send out an email, and that's not for my audience, that's for my sanity. It was getting to a point where I can't produce a blog post and a newsletter and do all these things every single week. It's just not going to happen. So, I pulled back to every other week. So, my point is, as far as going too infrequently, I would say no less than once a month. And again, consistency is what matters. I know I'm going to hear from DSW every day. I know every time I open my email, I'm going to get something from DSW. It's fine. Obviously, I don't care. If I cared, I would have unsubscribed, but I still like their emails. So that is 2 points, right? The first point is you can send stuff regularly and even frequently if it's high quality. If you send out a newsletter less than once a month, people are going to forget who you are. Don't be like, well, we can send out a quarterly email and it'll be fine. That's all people need. No, it's not. Do you remember people that you hear from 4 times a year? Do you know who that is? Do you really know what they do, who they are, who they help, the problems they solve? No, you don't. Because if you got that email from them, if it didn't go straight to spam, if you actually opened it as opposed to just deleting it right away, you have no memory of who that person or that company really is. The other thing about sending multiple emails, more and more emails, again with DSW, most of them get deleted. Every once in a while, I'll open them up and look through and go, ooh, Mary Janes are back in style. I do like a good Mary Jane, right? So I'm not opening all of their emails, but when they get me, right? So people are going to be that way with your newsletter. It's fine. Don't expect them to open every email. But if you're only sending once a quarter, you are expecting them to open every single email. And that's just not realistic. They're not going to open every single email that you send them. It's just not going to happen. So the least frequently I would send is once per month. The most frequently I would send is once per day. But if you're watching this, you are probably a solopreneur or a small business owner, and you do not have the capacity to send every day unless it's crap. And if it's crap, don't send it. Send quality content that answers their questions, that clearly defines who you are, what you do, and who you help. And that is it. That is my tip for you today. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I am again, my website is AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. And you can reach me directly at info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great weekend. Happy blogging, everyone.